Hi, hello everybody. How are you today? I hope you're having a great morning. Oh my God. Oh, I'm getting some reverb here. Uh, let's see. Yeah, wow, what a morning. I just kind of sprung into action and it was a late morning for me. I like to have a lot of things prepared, and I did do some prep last night, but it was just one of those things. I knew I had to get up early in the morning, so my adrenaline was going like really crazy, so I didn't really get a whole lot of sleep last night. So I hope you will forgive me if I'm a little loopy this morning, but I do have my coffee here. I'm gonna pour in a little bit more coffee for myself. Um, because it's delicious. So I've got my cup of coffee. I hope you have yours. I did pick up some really awesome blueberry scones yesterday that are so good. I love scones because they're not so sweet and you can have like little bites of it and it's not too much. So I do like those and I love having them with my coffee. Biscotti is nice with coffee as well. I wonder what you're having. Let me know. So I want to see who's here because I see some familiar names in the chat, and I'm excited that you guys are here this morning. Well, thank you for joining me. Let's see. Uh, we've got Unicorn Rampant Studio in the house. Good morning. I am taking care of animals. I'm listening in my headphones, and I will look at the chat in case there is in case the wrench is needed. Oh wow, yes, thank you. Hopefully Lance will be here. Hopefully Lance can join us today. But I think he may be a later he's probably like not as of a morning person because I'm like that too. I'm like I'm usually up like around 11. I don't know if you guys remember when my mom joined me last week and she was like, you're not really a morning person. I mean, she knows me very well. I usually I like getting up at like noon or later sometimes. I'm a bit of a vampire. But since you mentioned the wrenches, you know how much love I have for you wrenches out there. Thank you for keeping the place clean and safe and keeping us protected from those dreaded spam bots that are out there. So let me give you a special thank you. Here we go. And of course, the allergies are raging this morning. They are. They are raging this morning again. So let's see what else is in the comments. Thank you for that wonderful comment this morning and reference to the mods so I could play that video. That video usually always puts me in such a good mood and I usually start dancing with it. I don't know about you. Keith E is here. Hello, Keith E. I'm sure we will be fine. It's all good. Yes, I think so. I think so. You guys are so awesome to me. Stuart Mitchell is here. Hello, Stuart Mitchell. It's great seeing you in some of the streams this week. Retro Nerd Girl, hello, my friend. Hello. And Full Chain Animation is here. Hi, Full Chain. Great to see you this morning. Hi, RNG. It's been way busy with work. Sorry I haven't been able to join in. Working away right now, listening in. Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it so much that you're taking time to listen in. And I'm just glad that this format exists so that way I can do that and we can that we can commune like this. This is great. And Keith E says, good morning, Stuart. We got the great music for starters. Thank you. Oh, look who's here. Prince Everlove is here. Hello. Greetings to you as well. Let's see. Oh, Sin Havoc 5150 is here. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You are awesome. Always love seeing you in the chat. What's up to everyone in the chat, he says. Um, let's see. Let's see. Who else is here? Let's see. Um, and Keith E says, I'm expecting my great nieces and nephews over for lunch here in about an hour or so. So I'm going to have to leave, but we'll see what happens. Okay, thank you. I appreciate you being here for however long you can be, and or maybe come back. And definitely, oh, give your nieces and nephews a big hug for me. I love the little ones. And have fun with them too. Oh my God, I wonder what you guys are having for lunch. Let's see. Um, oh, and Prince Everlove is sending me some emojis, which I always love. The planet with the orange purple ring. I love planets and those kinds of things. So I love when you send me those emojis. Thank you. um, and let's see. I have allergies, so I'm actually tearing up right now. And it's not because I'm sentimental, it's just allergies. They are raging. Uh, they're always raging, and it's because the weather's struggling to change. And here we had like a huge, I want to say a blizzard, because it started snowing at 4 o'clock yesterday, 4 p.m., and did not stop until like 1 o'clock or something ridiculous. And we got like several feet of snow. It's just horrible. It was like, what is this, December? Oh my God, look who's here. It's Winter Soldier. Hello, Winter Soldier. By the way, that's my favorite MCU movie. It really is. It was a great movie. Well, maybe Wakanda. I had some problems. I know a lot of people love Black Panther, and for many reasons, that is also a really great movie. But Winter Soldier as a superhero felt more like an espionage spy movie with superpowered beings in it. And there was something really cool about that movie. And I loved it. Winter Soldier says, the Baby Yoda show. It's the Baby Yoda show. Yay! Yes, oh gosh, yes. Definitely Baby Yoda is coming to his own this week on this show. And Sin Havoc says, wacky times are upon us. Grifting rules apply. Let's grift those likes for Retro Nerd Girl. Oh, you're so sweet. Yes, if you can, definitely, if you can give me a like, it'll be fantastic. And I do have a little, let's see if I can find it today. For some reason, I am having trouble finding my little. Yes, guys, go on ahead and smash that button, or tickle it if you have a very gentle device, or but smashing it is so much more fun, isn't it? Uh, let's see what is going on in the house. Oh, look at those heart emojis. Thank you so much, Tin Havoc. You are awesome. I really appreciate you. And Unicorn Rampant Studio says, very good coffee nibbles. Yes. Oh gosh. Those blueberry scones are they're like little tiny, um, they're like about that size. Really, really cute, because you just, they're so good. Oh, look who's here. Woodrow. Woodrow. Good morning, Woodrow. And Alex Dawson is here in the house. Hi there. Oh, look who it is. It's Stuntbrat777 Smith. Hello. Retro Nerd Girl, Scone and Biscotti hugs. Oh my God. Hugs to you as well. Hugs to you as well. Oh my God. And everyone is saying hello to each other. Oh my God, look who's here. Oh, it's Michaelito. Hi, Mikey. Oh my God, great to see you in the morning. It's really early where you are, right? Is it are you on the East Coast? If so, it should be about 11 o'clock. It's almost noon for you, right? It's good to see you in here. I am so happy to see you. I was so happy to see you like 2 weeks ago back in on RM's channel, Positive Fandom, and it was fantastic to see you in the chat. Let's see. And Sint Havoc says, "Don't stop." Okay. Yes. Don't stop. It's an inside joke, guys. And you probably won't know what we're talking about. Sin Havoc and I have inside jokes. Look who it is! It's Lance. You're here. Oh my gosh. How are you, Lance? Thank you for being here. RNG, how are you? I am hanging in there. The allergies are like they're raging today. They are raging today. And this particular today, it's like it wants my eyes are so itchy and really they're crying without me being sad. Or extremely happy. So it's really wild to cry involuntarily. All right, let's see. Unicorn Rapid Stew says wild blueberries. Oh my God, I could use some. I love blueberries. They're so delicious. And they're really good for you, from what I heard. Um, so yeah, we've caught up with the chat. I'm so glad that you guys are all here. And let's start the morning off. I You have to bear with me this morning, is usually I try to have some of this stuff prepared in advance, and uh, we're just gonna be moving quickly. Um, Okay, let's see. So banners, I do have this one to talk about. It's morning take mornings, modern take mornings, where I talk about modern news and things that are happening, and kind of give my like 2 cents about current events. And I hope you don't mind me talking about the latest episode of The Mandalorian. Season 3, episode 4. And if you don't mind, I have cue cards like, the old Johnny Carson show used to have cue cards. And I have a pad here of notes that I took of the show. So I'll be looking at those on occasion. All right. So let's go. And there will be some spoilers, but I'll put that down there just in case. But I won't be going into too deep of spoilers. Um, I love this episode. For season 3, we have been struggling to figure out what's going on, and I think finally we're starting to shape up a storyline going that's moving forward. It's been like vignettes of scenes and places and things, but as far as moving the story along, we haven't gotten a lot of maturity there. And so I think this episode kind of it is slowly moving the needle a little bit. And I adore it for that. Um, we have it was a lot shorter than the other episodes, and a lot of people have been asking for longer episodes, please. This one was only about 30 minutes, and I don't mind that it's 30 minutes. I don't want a 50-minute story that really should have been told in 30 minutes. And I thought the pacing in this episode this week was perfect. Perfect pacing. And that's the biggest gripe I have about all of these Star Wars shows. The pacing. Pacing is usually like it'll be perfect, and then it will be off, and it'll just jump around to different styles of filmmaking. And I think this particular episode was true to form of the Mandalorian that I came to love in season 1 and some of season 2. And I thought it brought back something that I absolutely adore in the story. And basically, this story is I forgot the title of it. What is it called? Um, um, I wonder if you guys know what the title of this week's episode was. It was um, basically, oh, the foundling. It's called the foundling, and the foundling is really just referring to youngsters that are found by the Mandalorians that they take in and raise as warriors. And by nature, the Mandalorians are a uh, they are a warrior race or warrior people, and they have a mixture of different races within them and species of other aliens. So it's really fascinating that these guys, under their helmets, may actually be, not even be of the, human form. They're like all different types of creatures. And so I'm fascinated by their world, and I definitely want to learn more about it. The thing that's really been exciting for me in this episode is that we got a training for we got a training sequence, or we got a chance to see the Mandalorians train and kind of spar with one another. And little Grogu had to get in the mix. Um, and from what I could tell by is that this was not the beginning of the beginning of this episode was not the direct end from last week's episode. There must have been some time in between. And the reason why I say that is because Grogu seems to be more interested in playing and not so much being a part of a fighting group or whatever. And then we have Din Djarin come by and say, "Hey, you can't just sit around and play all day. You've got to, it's time to grow up. It's time to be, for you to reach manhood at some point. You can't just sit around and hang around with the Mandalorians and be cute. You've got to contribute." And part of that is by being a warrior. And so I thought it was very interesting that little dynamic there. Grogu just wants to play and be a child. So in many ways, Grogu's childhood has really been snatched away from him, um, because a lot of people have commented Grogu really should be older, or he should be more mature by now because he's 50 years old, and even if he lives to be 1,000, that should mean that he's maybe, maybe like 5 or 7 years old in development. He's not doing any of that. He's not talking. He's not, he's barely doing all those things. And I think it's because of the trauma that he has gone through with being a part of that Order 66 really affected him deeply. It was a very traumatic moment for him in his life. And also the fight to save his life was tremendous. And so he really um has taken this in a very deep and a personal way, and it just proves that psychologically he's going through a lot. I love that deep aspect of the character. It's they're not talking about it in full, like, incredible detail, but you're getting pieces and elements of that from his reactions in the story. I love all that. All right. And another thing that I wanted to go over was that Grogu gets a flashback in this episode in which the actor who played Jar Jar Binks, his name is Ahmed Best, uh, shows up as a Jedi in this, and is actually the responsible for protecting Jade Grogu, which I think is a wonderful little, like, Easter egg for fans, and also it was a great redemption for the actor himself because of all of the ridicule that he got for playing Jar Jar Binks. And Jar Jar Binks for me wasn't a big problem. It wasn't terribly bad that he, I didn't think he was horrible, but there were a lot of people who really felt bad terribly about that character, and some people even attacked the actor, and really made his life a miserable hell. And so he gets to have a redemption, to have that character, um, or have him himself be redeemed, if you will. His name is Jedi Master Kelleran Beck. And so that was great. I just love that so much. And that sequence was very exciting. I love the pacing. I love the music attached to it, the tension, camera angles, and all of the things that really were awesome about this episode. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, who directed this episode? Carl Weathers, guys. Carl Weathers directed this thing. And we have, let me see, somebody's talking about that. Let's see. Um, uh, Winter Soldier says Carl Weathers always directs the short, nonstop action episodes, such as much with as much Grogu as allowed by law. Yes, so true, so true. It was like a lot of Grogu this week, but also a lot of action, and it all played into the storyline. And it was all really done well. I was very, very excited. I see some other uh, things here. Let me see. Um, Michaelito says, yes, East Coast, Long Island. I'm here to see what you thought of Mando season 3, episode 4. Yes, I loved it. It's my favorite episode so far in the series. I think I'm very close to giving it a 9.5, 9.8 maybe. There were a few things here and there that maybe you could nitpick at. Some I've already seen some reviews that people who did not like this at all and were very upset that it was a short episode. But I'm like, look, I'd rather you not waste my time. I don't want to sit around and waste time just to make a 50-minute episode and you say absolutely nothing and do absolutely nothing for me. I rather an episode where we're actually getting ahead in the story. And Sin Havoc says Bo-Katan's plotting to take over, and that's what it looks like, right? But I have to wonder, because she does take charge. A young boy that I love the part that here Grogu fights this young boy in battle, and his pride and everything is wrapped up into it, so he walks off and kind of goes a little bit astray from the group so he can gather his thoughts. As a warrior, he needs to find the center. He's a little kid, but he's these things are part of his what he contemplates. It almost feels kind of reminds me of like Conan, like how he was very contemplating, even though he was a warrior. He's somebody who thinks a lot, who really takes in his environment and takes in what is being told to him. So I love that aspect of that little kid who's growing into becoming a Mandalorian, kind of taking the time out to say, like, what did I do wrong here, and kind of taking that time by himself. And of course he's attacked by a reptile, a pterodactyl kind of bird that swoops in and grabs him, and the entire group of Mandalorians chase after this thing with their rocket packs. And I love those rocket packs so much. And they're trying to find the child, but they can't use regular tactics with this creature. They have to be very careful because they have lost war with this creature. It was sort of sort of a dynamic situation there. I loved all that. The pacing, it just drives me crazy how much I love the pacing on this particular one. And Sin Havoc says Moff Gideon will be returning soon. I hope so because we really need to get to the the pulse of what is the driving determination here. And we might get that. We also might get is all the Mandalorians getting together to kick major butt on I'm hoping on on a full scale on a becoming sort of like the knights of the of this particular time period, help saving people, helping people, gaining more supporters, growing their ranks, getting more foundlings, because they need more foundlings to grow. And so I think this is going to be kind of like establishing the Mandalorians as like maybe even peacekeepers. That would be really cool. Really cool. I hope for that. But yes, that would be awesome. I hope that the writers are really, putting that into consideration. And, the Mandalorians aren't a big part of the sequels. So I don't want them to be so big in the universe that they take up the space, but at least have their own pocket. The new order, like, we ain't gonna mess with the Mandalorians. They're crazy. Or yeah, once the new order comes into play, let's see what oh, okay. William Blake Hall says, I just grab a little situation here. I work nights and need to lie down. Still looking forward to this Friday's action movies, but I'm going to lay some really old spy movie titles on you. Just give me a minute, okay? I do watch these over, so I will be writing these titles in my notebook. What do you got? You got 3 Days with Condor. You got The Odessa File, ex-Nazis plotting to destroy Israel, based on a decent novel. Three, The Parallax View, is a corporation hiring assassins. I know of 3 Days of Condor. I do know of The Parallax View. It's on my list of movies. And I believe I've seen it once. I'm not sure. The conversation number four. The conversation. A surveillance expert is plugged into paranoia. And five. Gonna wrap up with this. Five Fingers. Dull name, but based on a real spy for the Nazis. Heavy duty spy stuff for you. Thank you so much. I like that. I'm going to add all those to my list. Um, oh, okay. Here we got some juicy one about the show. Sinavik 5150 says she got the Minosaur symbol now. I think Din remembers seeing the Minosaur, but isn't saying anything yet. You think so, or he just was out? I mean, it's just so wild. Like I'm not. See, the reason why I'm wondering is because Din is not. Din is pretty like forward. He's like pretty simple, right? He's not like Bo-Katan is more complex because of her past. Um, and I do love that aspect of her, that she has this incredible past that has a lore. You can go back and see the old Rebels cartoons, and or if you want to go to Wikipedia, Wikipedia, you can get a rundown on what she in particular is like all about. But I think and it's a beautiful story. Her background is very fully realized and amazing. So let's see. I do have this one thing here that I'm going to address. Um, this is a $5 super chat from Woodrow. Thank you so much. What did you read into the mythosaur being addressed so politely by the armor? Okay, yes, you noticed that. It is strategic not to be a loudmouth, communal, or spiritual. Is it strategic not to be a loudmouth or communal or spiritual? Okay, so it was really interesting how she downplayed it. She almost was like, yeah, yeah, sure you did. Sure you saw the mythosaur. But before that, I was really surprised that Bo-Katan actually shared that fact with her. And I'm confused to why the fact she felt like she could just say that to the armorer. Now they're besties. I didn't know that they were besties. I thought she would tell Din before she would tell the armorer, and so that's kind of like a weird one. I'm still kind of reeling from that, like trying to figure out like why she would tell her about it. But also, I feel like um it's one of those things where I wonder if the armorer knows more than she is letting on. Like, first she says, "Yeah, you'll never be able to get, the living waters because the place is messed up, it's uninhabitable, it's poison." And then all of a sudden she's like, "Yep, this is the way." Like, go ahead and get to the living waters. And she's not surprised. She's not happy that, oh, our world that we used to have is actually livable again. It's not poisonous. The living waters are truly there. I don't know. There's something fishy about that armor. And I don't know if it's like she's the baddie or something, but maybe she's like trying to protect the the clan by not getting them into uh this whole thing about looking and seeking the world. I'm not sure. I am not sure about that armor. Like, what is her ultimate goal? We know she's keeping secrets. At least we think she is. Her actions are super sketchy. And if it's not true, if she's not super sketchy, then I am uh I have to say that she's being written in a terrible way. If she's not sketchy, they're not writing her in the correct way. So something is going on. Maybe it's like the case of like the Planet of the Apes, where the leader is trying to, like I said, protect the clan by not letting them know everything that they should know. uh, that's what I think. Anyway, Woodrow, thank you so much, and I have a special thank you for you. Let me find which one. Oh, let's try this one. I love that. All right. And Michaelito says, "This is the way. Seems like a solution for almost every situation." Yes! This is the way. I love the different ways you can say this is the way. But my favorite "this is the way" is the one that was done in episode 2 when um, uh, Bo-Katan tells Din Djarin about her father, and he says, "This is the way." I love that. It was great. Uh, but yeah, let's see what Woodrow says. The armor does have them on a deadly planet made for creating heroes. Yes, and I think they enjoy the challenge. They're not going to walk away from this. They're warriors. That's their creed is of being warriors. So they always have to be training. They always have to be tuning up their stuff. They always have to earn their valor. All of the Mandalorians, all of the metal, that they get, they're not. They have to reach certain levels. You know, so I think the reason why Grogu gets his little piece of armor is because he won in that battle with that the youngster, and so he gets, every time he does something, you get a piece of armor, and if your armor is not complete, and so I love the fact that Bo-Katan, lost her shoulder pad, and the armor's like, you need a repair, and she grabs her, and she's like, she does a little something and makes a little thing for her. That armor, though, I played by Emily Swallow. Man, she's doing her thing. I love her acting and her voice acting in this. It's just great. And whoever is in the doing her physical presence in the show is just incredible. I mean, I wish we could see what they look like underneath those helmets, to be honest. But hey, you can't have it always. And one thing I did love about this particular episode is that it does sort of explain how they can get around wearing their helmets and eat and do other private things, is that you have to do it away from everyone else. So this concept of never taking off your helmet is in the presence of other people. And I think we need to that was a huge issue for a lot of people. They were like, wait a minute, how do you not take off the helmet ever? It's because you it's because um y- y- you take it off in private. And if we don't remember, in the very first episode, I'm sorry, in the very first season, I believe it might have been like episode 2 or 3, the Mandalorian takes off his helmet when he's visiting a village to eat, when he was in private. And so you can do that. You can take off your helmet if you're in private, but you cannot take your helmet off in front of other people. And I think that worked for me. And let's see. Michaelito says the biggest challenge for all those Mandalorians is finding a private place to eat. Yes. So you've got to, like, especially if you're out in the open, you're on a hunt. I love it's like, let's get together a hunting team. I love that stuff. That was so good. I just Carl Weathers was so perfect to to direct this too. It was just great. It was so great. I was like, finally, we're getting the movement that we need, the pacing that we need for a great action uh, adventure story that with deeper implications. That's what this is all about, and I love it. Oh, look who's here! Tom Limery. Hey, hey, Tom. How are you? Oh, wow. Good to see you in here, Tom. Uh, there you are. That's Hello. I'm so glad that you're here today. Um, yeah, so I don't and back to what you were saying about Din, I don't think Din actually saw it, because he's never been Din is like kind of an interesting character, but he almost is transparent in many ways. Um, and I don't know if he's that kind of a cunning kind of character. He has a lot of internal, like, dialogue, you can tell in his helmet, but I don't think he is the kind of person who would be like running a game on um I don't think he would be running a game on Bo, because I think he trusts her in a way. I mean, she saved his life twice, 3 times. She saved his life 3 times already. So yeah. But look, everybody was complaining that Din was not getting a chance to be, Din. And this week he saved somebody, guys. He saved somebody. Finally gets to save somebody. It was great. Like I we I don't know if the showrunners really know how much we need to see Din in the Mandalorian. Even though, the story's called Mandalorian, there may be a play on words there. Maybe the Mandalorian is really talking about Grogu's origin and his growth and everything to that effect. I mean, he was there since episode 1. So the thing for us to really try to, get is like, who is the Mandalorian that the show is really talking about, and does it really matter? But I would love to see more Din, because we all love Din. We all love Din, and we were with him when he had, very little armor, or his armor was really bad and torn, and now he's got this all the shiny, beautiful armor. We want to see our hero. He is our hero, and we want to see him, and we want to see Grogu continue his road toward being a hero as well. And Michaelito says the biggest challenge for all of those Mandalorians is finding. Yeah, you just told me that. I'm reading. And then uh, phrasing, is that right? Phrasing or frat? I think it's called phasming. Don't have the exact uh pronunciation. Uh, Faisang. Faisang. Fei Sang says, morning, checking in to say hi and that I enjoy your videos. Can't stay. I'm in the southern hemisphere. Kind of late for me. Oh, wow. Thank you so much for joining me today and just, popping in to say hi. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. I am so glad that you enjoy my videos. I really am super proud of my videos, and I'm working on videos right now. So guys, I have not given up making videos. It's just taking me a long time to get my my technology to cooperate with me. So I hope you will forgive me for not making as many videos as I really should at the moment. But they're coming. They are definitely coming. And so I didn't want to go on forever and ever about episode 4 for season 3, but I did love it very much. Again, we can nitpick a couple of things here and there, but I really did love the training of seeing that training sequence, and we had, oh my god, I almost flipped out when we had the big action scene with this bird, and this whole struggle of all the Mandalorians trying to take down this bird. I love that. And how just at the end, when you're like, oh boy, this thing is gonna, he drops into the water, and you're like, oh my god, this thing is gonna is gonna jump right back into the skies and eat them all, right? Like, and so what happened, of course, was this really huge moment, which I can only say or describe as a Jurassic Park moment. I was like, yes. I know it may be childish and immature, but it was very much felt to me like a moment out of Jurassic Park, where we had uh, the monster from the second episode. There was a huge, gigantic crocodile monster, and that was terrorizing the Mandalorians, and he just pops up and snatches that bird, and it was like a glorious moment. Uh, and they were able to save the youngling, and they were able to be successful, and it's all due to a combination of teamwork, guys, organized teamwork. And we had Bo-Katan organizing it. I mean, I love the fact that she had to pitch it to them first. She said, "Hey, okay, this is what I found out," and she has the technology of her ship to be able to help them. This is why I think Din really needs a ship that's like, that's substantial, and hopefully all of these guys will get spaceships soon. But they, just having that um that moment where she's like, okay, this is how we can go in and make a difference, and she shows them everything. She doesn't just come in first and and they're like, oh, trust her. She has to earn their trust. So she he basically has like a little pitch meeting on like, hey, okay, this is how we can do it. And then the armorer is like, okay, I will I'll give you extra people, and it just worked out really great. I love that part because the last thing I want to see is is sort of like, oh yeah, we're just gonna make Bo-Katan the leader. I want her to earn it, and with um by doing things. And the reason why I think Din is probably might not be the leader is because he doesn't desire that kind of stuff. He's like a roamer. I don't even know how long he's gonna hang out with the Mandalorians. So, um, so yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about what's gonna happen next. At this very moment, I'm feeling glowy and happy about this episode. After the last three, I was really quite disappointed by the last episode, to be very honest with you. This kind of restored a lot of the good faith that I have, that the rest of the episodes will finally start to matriculate some good material and follow through with some of the storylines that's already been set in the first four episodes. For crying out loud, it's time for us to move on. And saying that, it's time for me to move on to my next thing, which is, and I can remove this banner of spoilers. Um, and put that up. That would be cool. So the next thing is just going through a list of some of the things that happened this week. And it seemed like just after I announced, oh, who's here? I think oh, Danny Staton is here. Hi, Danny. Greetings from South Carolina. Oh, great to see you here this morning. Yes, it is. Wow, you're up. Or yes, it is pretty early. Um, uh, for me, it's about to turn into 11 o'clock. So it's 10:53. So it's not that early for me, but I'd rather get up at like 2. I know. So there's a couple of things right after um, our little get together last week. We had James Gunn. Uh, well, there's a couple of things. Zack Snyder released a small little trailers announcing well, not really announcing, but teasing SnyderCon. And what a SnyderCon is really is a couple of days in which Zack Snyder will be promoting his, well, not promoting, but doing some things for the charity, for the Association for Suicide Prevention, which is AF AFSP. And this is a fantastic cause, and one that I've been looking for different um, causes that I would like to be involved with, and charities that I'd like to be involved with. And this is one of them, and also Feed America is another one that I really want to get involved with. And so I'm like writing down all of these really awesome charity um, uh, organizations that I feel passionately about, and I really would like to find something on the lines that would be helpful for homeless individuals. So I'm looking for one more charity, or maybe two more charities that I think is very important, um, because I'm gonna be trying to see if I can. Do something like a fundraiser, or maybe even do something where I give like 10% of my income to these organizations. So gonna I'm gonna definitely put a post-it note on that idea, because it is something I believe in, that we and the government isn't going to be able to help us with everything that we need, and it's really important for us to do the charity. I want to do that. James Gunn also announced that he is oh, okay, so the Snyder Cut is coming up, And so a lot of people are trying to get tickets. I think this Friday he's going to announce how to get tickets. And so if you don't get tickets, you'll be able to go to the channel for Vero. It's the the name of it is VERO, and there's a channel for it on YouTube in which you can see all of the events that are happening on for SnyderCon. And then on the same day, it was announced that James Gunn is going to be directing the Superman film that he is writing the script for. And that is interesting news because I think everybody who knows about James Gunn is like, we all knew that he was going to do just that. Guys, look who's here. My mom's here. If you guys don't know, Tubman is my mom. Those nails are long. Yeah, they're pretty long. I'm gonna cut them down because I want to do some crafts, and I need them to be cut down in order to do my crafts. But yeah, it's time. It's time to give it up. For a long time, I had short nails because I always lose them at work, and so I went on this nail journey in which I wanted to grow my nails. I have had them for a while now, and maybe it's time to cut them down just a little, just a little, to do some crafts. Let's see. And so I'm really excited. I'm not excited about it, but I'm curious about it. A lot of people are, um, for James Gunn directing Superman. We all knew that it was going to happen, but it puts an extra layer of pressure on him to create this, magnus opus, if you will, and as well as structuring everything around the universe. But I think what this might actually be a good thing because it will clarify how the rest of the universe is going to follow suit around Superman. And I know a lot of people looking at this as in a bad way, but I actually think it's actually good. Um, uh, and that's providing that people go to the movies and see it and it's successful. Because if it doesn't have the support of everyone, it's going to die on the vine. And we're seeing this right now with Shazam's 2, which is my segue into that. Shazam 2, unfortunately, is flopping at the box office. It's officially what they call a box office bomb, and it's really sad because all of the um, all of the reports are saying that it's not a bad movie. It's actually a decent, superhero movie, and it's now a lot of people, the director and the star of the show, are both saying different reasons why they think that this is failing at the box office. And this is really, the stories behind this is really wild. But one of the things is blowing up in the news right now is that the actor is saying that the reason why this movie is failing is because uh, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, wouldn't allow an end credit scene to be filmed with certain actors in it or certain characters from that were appeared in his Black Adam movie, which are called the JSA. And I think it's actually, um, it, it, it's not, to kind of counter that, I would say no one knew that was what, no one cares about the end credit scene. End credit scenes, as we learned from Black Adam, doesn't make your film successful. What matters is getting people to go see your movie in the first place. Um, the JSA wasn't in the first Shazam movie. So that can't be part of the reason it failed. How about getting people into the seats at the theater? A lot of people weren't inspired to go see this movie for a few reasons. One, it was such a long tease to get this out. Remember, this movie was set back a couple of years, so that hurt the movie. Oh, Shazam 2 is coming out. Shazam 2 is coming out. Shazam 2 is coming out. Finally, 2023, Shazam 2 came out. Okay. Also, before this, before the release of the movie, both the director and the actor was asked, is there going to be more Shazam movies? And the answer was, well, people have to go see the movie in order for that to happen. That's a decent answer, but as a person who's going to see the movie, the proper answer would have been yes. There are going to be more movies. But since there aren't gonna, since it's a toss up, people have to go to the movies to see this. They are not confident that this is worth investing time and money to go see at the theater. Why should they get excited about a universe they'll never see again? So that is one of the biggest problem no one is talking about, that Shazam 2 has. It never had a chance to grow. The minute Henry Cavill was announced not to be a part of the DC universe, and they were getting rid of a lot of important characters from the Justice League universe that was set up before James Gunn showed up. That kind of sealed the tomb for Shazam 2. And it may be sealing the doom for a lot of other movies that are coming out that are not going to be part of Gunn's universe. So if you're going to be part of Gunn's universe and James Gunn says, hey, you're part of my universe, people might be more likely to support that. The fact that James Gunn has done absolutely, if at all, very little to support this movie on his, in his tweets and online and conversations, people are just not confident this movie is going to have, a future. That's why people didn't go see the movie. They were like, "There's no future here." We saw the first one; that was cool. And so that's really the main issue. Another thing is that they're blaming fans. They're like saying that there are toxic fans out there that that are stopping. I don't know what they're claiming, that now they're magical. These fans are magical, that they can stop movies from being successful. It does not work like that. It does not work like that. Um, you know, the movie, it could be successful because it's good and it's got enough word of mouth, and people are confident that they're going to see a good, something very good. Now, if Warner Brothers was confident enough in Shazam 2 to say, yes, absolutely, Shazam 2 is going to have a Shazam 3. If we can, if it can happen, we would love to have a Shazam 3. Then I feel that the public will be like, yes, let's, go see this. There's more story to this. You gotta, you gotta support this. But there was no confidence behind that. So people didn't go out. They didn't go. Now, let's talk about John Wick. John Wick 3. Oh, let me see what you guys have to say about any of this. What do you guys have to say about the Shazam 2 issue? We got Dan Man says, I've always think that Superman was too powerful. Better stories, more human, less powerful heroes. Thank you. That could be true. That could be true. There are so many ways to tell a superhero story, and I think We need to see some of those ways, and so I like the diversity of seeing a lot of different ways of telling superhero stories, and I'm looking forward to them. But I think, yeah, Superman is a delicate flower that has to be created in the perfect environment. And so I'm really curious as to see what James Gunn is going to come up with for his version of Superman. And I really hope and pray that Superman is going to be a stoic character and not one that is being made a fun of. Because being kind doesn't mean that you have to be made fun of. So I hope that's not going to be like the brunt of all the jokes and things like that. That Superman is being taken seriously and is treated with respect. A little fun can be had, but not at the expense of Superman to the point he's like weak and he's not. We have to. I want Superman to be a hero. A hero. And Michaelito says, "Well, I had 3 reasons why I've seen it yet. I haven't seen it yet. I think since Shazam and Black Adam characters are so related, that is a problem for me. Also, the DCU reboot is another problem. Yeah, the reboot itself. It's like, so you're rebooting everything. That means that all of these movies that we're seeing, including Aquaman Man 2, and with even the Flash is going to have its challenges, even though the eh, the the trailer looks fantastic. I want to see that movie. um but it still is going to be like, so this is going to be the closing door to all of this universe stuff. So I think I think there's a big issue here, and the big issue is not at the fans. It's not at Dwayne, uh, the Rock Johnson. It's not because there wasn't enough, um, uh, 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 you know, there wasn't enough. Material, or what it was it they call it marketing. There wasn't enough marketing. If you go to Times Square, they had photos everywhere for Shazam. There was stuff everywhere for who didn't know that Shazam was coming out. Everybody knows. Ask people if they're going to go see it. That's another thing. A lot of people are like, nah, not worth it, just not interested. And there, I think also the timing of when this is coming out, March. How about you put it like when it gets a little warmer, when it gets a little warmer in like the spring, or even like summer, a big summer blockbuster, uh, superhero movie. That's when you do it. And so the timing has a lot to play in this whole thing too. And we just got some really awesome movies that it's competing with. And so, yeah, this is not, these decisions come from high up on the food chain. Also, who gave Dwayne The Rock Johnson the power to be able to um, not allow certain things for his movie and other movies? It comes from a higher place. Okay, executives are the ones who are making these decisions. They are ultimately the ones to blame for the failure of Shazam. Current executives and past executives, just not, the ball was dropped. Okay, the ball was dropped. And Tom Lemery says they messed up the Batgirl movie too. Yes, there was huge problems with the Batgirl movie, and also they could have shelved this movie if it was going to be such a bomb, and they could have shelved it. They weren't going to do any more with it. They could have shelved it. I don't know why. Um, uh, you know, there's this whole thing about blaming everybody. Look, a movie like Blade Runner. Remember Blade Runner when it came out in 1981? Oh no, 82, 81, 82. It was a bomb. Nobody wanted to go see it. Nobody understood it. People thought it was boring. Now it's one of the most coveted movies of all time. Even got a a sequel 30 years later. What was it, 35, 30 years later? What? It's unheard of. It's you know, like it's yeah, it's timing. A lot of this has to do with timing too as well. Timing is very precious. Michaelito says also the weather has been poor lately, not good enough for me to go out and see a character as benign as Shazam. It's so true. Like there was just a storm here. I'm not going anywhere. Uh, yeah, it's not the best time. You do it in the summertime. The summertime is really great. You got June, July, August, if even May. May would have been a great month to have this movie come out. Uh, and Woodrow says, damn, damn, I agree. Batman 66 was peak Batman, adding in Superman and overpowering villains hurt the franchise. Yeah, it's very it's very hard to make Batman and Superman are couldn't be as far away from each other as possible. Right? They're like completely two different types of characters. I mean, if you went back to even like the 1989 Batman. I mean, how incredibly different he was from the 1977 Superman. Not just by the years, but by the tone. Like, it's incredible how much it this is like they're so separate, but they come together for the Justice League, right? They come together for the Justice League. And the Justice League in its own self has its own different tone from both of those two characters. So I'm almost thinking that whoever decides they want to do a Justice League group needs to just start off the gate with Justice League. Start off flying with Justice League characters. Don't try to get these two absolutely separate characters to put them together. Just start off with Justice League because that's a different tone than Superman, and it's a different tone than Batman. Just my thoughts and ideas. Just start off with the Justice League, and let's get into like the hot, juicy, crazy storylines of that whole thing and all those villains and all those exciting stories. We keep going back to Superman in Kansas and Smallville and being and uh, the Daily Planet. We keep revolving back and forth through that door every single time there's a new Superman. And I would love to just take off running with like Superman and get into the juicy stuff. Let's get to the juicy stuff. But also, I want to see a very intimate story with Superman. I think that would be really cool too. I want it all. I want it all. But I think the whole thing of blaming people for something that's not going to move the needle on getting people to go see your movie. I think the other thing about Shazam right now is that the lead actor and the director need to start exciting people as to why they should go see this movie. Is it any good? Hey, I had a lot of fun on this. Really loved the scene where we did this thing. It was really fun. It was really great. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. Look at Tom Cruise. He's like, I want to entertain you. I want to entertain you. That is the purpose of his movie. And so people were excited to see it because it felt like he cared. And that is the problem with this. It feels like these guys want to walk in the door and have everybody, bow down to them and just go see their movie without them having to do any work at all. Yeah, yeah. No, Sell me the movie. Stop blaming other people. That's the whole thing there. Now I want to move on to a couple of things. Uh, is anybody excited about Dungeons and Dragons? It's gonna come out on March 31st. That is I have to say that based on the trailers and any of the promotional materials, I'm actually thinking this is going to be fun. It's going to be a fun movie. Um, I don't know. I'm actually looking forward to Dungeons and Dragons, and it looks like a lot of fun. Like there's action, there's adventure, but Chris Pine, I think he's good for he's got a light comedic flavor in this, and I'm liking the idea of him doing something like this. Let's see what Tom Lemery says. They changed the origin with the characters too many times. They should team up and not pit them against each other. Yeah, I mean, I think so. Like where I think they should just start out with the Justice League. Just start off with the Justice League, and they're all working together against a big baddie, and it is a uh, let's get. I really want to see the thing that people really liked about the Snyder version of uh, his movies, especially Justice League. Uh, was the fact that we got into the juicy stuff right away with big characters. Now, if it's not your thing, I get it. But I'm saying that we need to start interacting with big characters like Doomsday, Brainiac, Bizarro. Like, I want to see these guys on big screen. I want to see them on the big screen. I want to see the Legion of Doom. I want to see um, Apocalypse. I want to see, all of these characters that are in the comic books and in animated form. The animated movies for DC are really, really good. I haven't seen all of them. I've seen quite a few, and they actually do more daring content than movies even try to do. So I think I would love to see something like that. But also, I was reminded by a friend or somebody I was talking to on another stream that a small intimate story would be great too. Do something. Right now, they haven't been doing much. Um, but having infighting and bad storylines and now blaming everybody else for their mishaps. Unicorn Rampant Studio, the main issue is that these people did not read the comic books as they claim to have, otherwise they would not be doing this stuff. That might be the first problem. uh, and a couple of yeah, even on the Marvel side, a couple of the creators didn't even want the actors to actually um, read any of the comic books, just so they could have that control over what people did. And I think that's putting them at a disadvantage. I mean, here you have this actor representing this character, and thousands of fans are yelling and screaming at that actor for not portraying the character properly, absolutely setting people up for failure and disaster. They don't have to deal with it because they're nameless and they're done with it. Like, they don't have to deal with the repercussions of it, but actors do. I remember we were talking about the actor who played Jar Jar Binks and how he was horrifyingly like attacked for years, just terrorized, because he played that character, and it was out of his control. He wanted a job, and he was an actor, and he did his best, and and it they don't they don't think about that. You don't have to live with the intense uh, scrutiny of being the face of a disaster. You know. So, and Unicorn Rampant Studio says they're just like all they just are like all there is I'm sorry, my reading is they're just like all their this cool thing I want to do, and it's full of coolness, and here I am. Yes. Yeah, I mean, and mainly on the top level, it's about money. That's basically what it is, about making money. On the case of DC, they may be like 50 billion dollars in debt now. They were originally, when the merger for the company closed last year, in April, I believe, it was $55 billion in debt, um, and they're working towards lowering that. And we lost a lot of movies in the process, like Batgirl and Scooby Doo project and a couple other like projects, and like I think multiple Scooby Doo projects were axed. And I think they're doing their best to decrease the number of movies that and projects that are being put out there. But at the end of the day, they need to, it's about allocating funds. And of course, they're not going to invest in Shazam because it's not worth anything to them, um, to keep going. Um, and I think that's also the problem with the thing about Disney is that if people don't critically love a movie, like let's say Thor 2, they didn't kill the franchise and end it because it was not critically loved, right? They kept going with it because they had a bigger storyline to tell, right? And so that's the problem with DC. Doesn't critics don't like it. Let's start over. It doesn't make $1 billion. We got to start over. It's very that's why they're not succeeding. They have to be able to buffer a loss to tell a bigger story, and they don't have the money for it. They just don't. Um, and Tom Lemery says when they put out Wonder Woman in 1974, they didn't go with the Wonder Woman we knew from the comics. They got a blonde and an all-American jumpsuit. In an all-American jumpsuit. Luckily, they came to their senses. Yeah, yeah, they had Kathy Lee Crosby, who is gorgeous. And that movie isn't a half bad movie. It's just not Wonder Woman, right? It's just not Wonder Woman. It's some other character. And it was really interesting to see when they went back to the drawing board and said, okay, we're gonna pick a classic brunette, and they found one of the best. I can't even imagine anyone else playing the role but Linda Carter. But she was fantastic, and they really got inspiration from the comic books, and you see that in the production, especially the opening. It shows you these comic book drawings that come to life, and it's so exciting. As a kid, I remember seeing that, and I didn't even read a comic book yet, but I was just so in love with the fact that a comic book could come to life, and it was fantastic. It was fantastic. What a great idea they came up with that show. And one thing I have to say is that in live action you do have the ability to tweak a character somewhat, and but still deliver as much as you can from comics, or graphic novels, um, or whatever material you're sourcing it from. But I also feel like some of the complete redesigns are just like out there. You're like, okay, it needs to have some resemblance for people to say, hey, I recognize that character that I grew up and loved so much. And I think executives don't understand that at all. They they have agendas, whatever their agenda is. One of it is to make money. I think, and it's like, yeah, we'll really get all of the audience if we comply. We do this, cheap gimmick to try to get more people to see our movie instead of just making a good movie. Just make a good movie. And Woodrow says Hollywood is also scared of making characters look sexy. Yes, the cartoons are the only place where you can see sexy looking villains. Yes, or heroes. Like those characters had skin tight things. They're also afraid of giving those of hiring women who look like they could actually kick your butt, because in the comic books they were not afraid to draw a muscular woman and put her in a tight outfit, and she looked fabulous and great and sexy and feminine. Still, she still was feminine. And I was like, there is so much that is going on live screen with Hollywood movies, that really I think they should look at the original um, source material and say, ah, this is what people were attracted to with this particular series, in order to understand the visual connection that people make to characters that they love. The reason why we love Batman, right, is part of the fact of how he looks. The reason why we love Wonder Woman is partly the way she looks. Like a redheaded Wonder Woman is not gonna cut it. It's not gonna cut it. Just like a dark-haired Red Sonja makes no sense to me at all. I mean, how hard is it to find someone, a beautiful actress with red hair? With naturally red hair. Or I mean, or dyed. Like let's do it. Um, it's very hard to do that, but I feel like there are moments where you can change the character a little bit. Now, and everybody's favorite one is to mention Nick Fury. That originally he was uh, I believe David Hasselhoff played him in a story, and then he was played um, uh, and who was playing him? I forget. I'm having a moment. I'm having a moment. But yeah, that's a one of the people that they love to mention about, like, hey, look, this character was changed, um, and Nick Fury was changed, and I think, yeah, that was a great thing. And actually, it's just like an older guy with an eye patch. That's Nick Fury, right? Um, it's not going for a huge stretch there. It's not. You're not going for a huge stretch there. Uh, let's see. And but I do like a tweak or two on a character, as long as it's not, too bad. Plato says Wonder Woman is a hard character to do live action. Absolutely. And I'm actually pleased with what they've been able to do so far with Wonder Woman, both in TV and in live action. Um, a lot of people did not like the 1984 movie. Um, and that's understandable, but I think Wonder Woman, as a character, there's so many different versions of her that can be portrayed, because different depending on what comics you grew up with, or how you remember her. Definitely, she can be played as a more demure, more of a peacekeeper, and then she could also be played as a warrior princess. And so there are many ways that I have seen Wonder Woman being played, and you could play her. So I think there is a little leeway for Wonder Woman, but also um it's just kind of a wild like where do you go with Wonder Woman? Uh it There are a lot of stories I think she could have, but it has to be done well. It has to be done well. You need a skillful master taking care of Wonder Woman, is what I'm saying. Dark Vader said, now the thinking is, this is what you should be liking. Mm. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, I see what you're saying. You should like um, the changes that they're making to the characters. I mean, I think that I it's fine. I don't mind a tweak or two, but I do think I hope that's not the case. I hope they're not trying to make people like change people's minds or well, not change people's mind, but I hope they're not trying to like make people think certain things. I understand that times are changing, but it seems like they make a well-known characters gay. I don't I I don't even know about. I have no idea. Um, which ones? You mean in the comics, right? Because I know that they did some changes to a couple of characters in the comic books. Um, and Woodrow, no, oh, Woodrow says Nick Fury is black in the comics. He's from the Ultimate Marvel universe. Oh, okay. Nick Fury is a character from the 1960s. What we're talking about in the movies doesn't have anything to do with the comic books. Hmm. In the cinematic version of the Ultimates. This is the cinematic version of the Ultimates. Oh, okay. You guys know your comic book stuff. Unicorn, a lot of the stuff that came out of dumb World War II developments, which definitely wasn't going to have any of the diverse character arcs. Oh, so what you're saying, okay, a lot of the stuff that came out of World War II development, which definitely wasn't going to, because it was already set in those books. Yeah, I mean, Darth Plato says, Darth Vader says, what is funny is that original creation of Runaway is intentionally made as a fetish theme. Yes, I heard that. I heard that. I heard that. So that had to be modified for, in order to, um, during the years, right? Yes, it was made by people who actually made fetish comics. And times change can be used to justify anything. It's just a slogan. And Raina Creel. Oh, look, Raina Creel. How are you doing? How are you doing this morning? How you finally caught you live? Oh, thank you guys. If you ever get a chance to head over to Lorena Creel's channel, she has an awesome channel. I'm on there a lot, talking about a lot of these things, and I'll be talking about Mandalorian. This episode that just happened, season 3, episode 4 on her channel, and I believe it will air on Saturday, possibly. um, Thank you for hanging out with us. Unicorn Rampant says usually made it the same desk in many cases, I'm sure. Um, Talking about the people who actually made the fetish comics, yeah. Um, And Lorena says, dropping by to drop a like on my way to lunch. Oh, well, have a great lunch. Thanks for popping by. I'm really so happy that you were able to do that. Oh, Jackson Mount is here. Could hang out and listen to RNG discuss the Wonder Woman forever, but the weather broke and I'm riding to Austin. Oh, okay. Have a great trip. Hit that like, and I'll be back Friday. And Michaelito, there's a segment of the audience that doesn't believe in representation or adaptations. Yes, I do. I do know that there are a lot of people who just want all of everything to be the same as it was in the comics. Um, and I think there's room for some change, as long as we get the character essence, like Hawkman, I believe, from Black Adam. I thought he was excellent. I thought he was fantastic. I really want to see more of Hawkman. He was really great. A big standout, and and that was a change. And I thought it was excellent casting. They got someone with a fantastic presence, and his eyes were so captivating. I was like, wow, it's that guy right there. Um, so yeah, it's I think it is definitely the energy that a person brings to their character, that the actor knows what the character is and isn't just depending on the director to explain what the character is. Do you know what I mean? Because, like I said, there are certain directors that ask their actors not to look at any of the comics. To, you know, they don't want any outside influence to change their vision of what the character is. And you have someone like Henry Cavill who's like, no, I think that the character should be like this, and people are like, no, we want you to just act and shut up. And yet the actors get the brunt of all the hate. Like Henry Cavill has gotten the brunt of all of the hate that people have for, like, oh, he wasn't represented like this, he wasn't represented like that. He's been begging for his chance to get in the ring and actually show people how Superman can be played with his version, and hasn't gotten the opportunity. So sad. So upsetting too. Unicorn Rampant Student says a lot of the Wonder Woman is really just a grown-up version of the Wonder Girl story from the 1980 comics by Marv Wolfman and George Perez. Right, great information. And Alex Dawson says back again. Uh, Welcome back, Alex. And Unicorn says, yes, comics. Uh, you're definitely got your comic book game information uh, down here. Let's see. Unicorn Rampant Studio says, I'm just saying that using the name recognition for old folks for giving you stories and characters for young folks. Yeah. I think it's really, and I absolutely despise that, because I really want to, if this is what I'm saying, this is what I'm saying. And this is the perfect example. It's totally different situation, but Battlestar Galactica was a very good series, the modern version that everybody loved. But in my opinion, it should have been called something completely different. Had absolutely no connective tissue. Well, there was some connective tissue, a little, but a lot of people were like, "Oh, Battlestar Galactica, the story that we saw in the 70s." They used the title to present a completely different story. That was juicy and delicious and it was great, but me as a fan of Battlestar Galactica, the original series, was like, wow, this is so not what I thought the show was going to be. Also, they made fun of the original concepts And like, oh, those guys were toasters. I was like, come on. Yeah, I was just really frustrated with that. Uh, because there was, yeah, just frustrated. They used the name of Battlestar Galactica to get people in the door, but they didn't serve the people who came. Unicorn Rampant Studio, it would be fine if they were calling them adaptations. Exactly. But they're not. They're not calling them adaptations. Absolutely. We're in full agreement here. Like, don't give me Wonder Woman if you're going to give me someone like Wonder Woman. Okay. That's a Kathy Lee Stewart, Crosby version. Call her Wonder Woman, but she's actually just a spy agent. They could have called that anything else, and it would have been really awesome. Uh, they could have called her Miss America. It would have been really cool if they did, because they would be creating their own thing, and they even said like inspired by Wonder Woman, and they had the rights and everything. So, Rampant Studio, the studios are saying this is for canonical Thor. Thor does this and does that. Um, they are maintaining their own continuity and pushing out all of the original stuff. Nothing wrong with that, but it's not what we grew up with, and which is also okay. Yeah, I mean, it's okay for them to change things, but uh, it, are they delivering something better? Is the question. Thank you. Back to the dogs. Give them a big hug for me. I love the puppies. Let's see. And Darth Vader says same basic story. Yeah, same basic story. How did we get on this topic? They're actually not even close to the same basic story. Yes, they're not even saying the same story at all. I mean, uh, it's really upsetting because you come there looking for like the modern version of V that they did, the reboot. It's like they ended up having in both storylines, they both having to refer to the original. And it's like, yeah, because the original was more exciting, was more fun. This updated version did absolutely nothing to give you any of the thrills that the first movie did, and it was all CGI. Nothing wrong with CGI, but it just wasn't up to par with the practical effects that they did back in the 80s. And so, yeah, the reboot of V was. I saw the first episode and I was like, "What is this? What is this?" Very disappointing. Unicorn Rampant Suit. I guess I just added myself as a comic person craziness. No, this is great. I am learning so much from comic book people lately. If you're into comic books or like talking about comic books, there are quite a few channels that I follow that do so. But one in particular is uh, clobbing clobbering times. Clobbering times is a very good channel. Um, a couple of you guys on here follow clobbering times. An excellent channel that also goes into deep detail on Star Trek. Uh, and now they're also going into detail with the old TV show UFO, which is really exciting. And Tom says, "Yes, unicorn. Yes, RNG. Yes. Oh, great. We and Michaelito says, and almost the same people would complain that they're just copying Wonder Woman. Yeah, yeah. It's true. It's true. It's true. Oh, and Darth Plato. I didn't finish reading. Uh, uh, Madam Justice, Miss USA, um, Amazing Wonder, the Fantastic Female. Lots of ways to change up Wonder Woman. Yeah, yeah. And even if they did say, like, complain that they're just copying Wonder Woman, which would be fine. Um, but also give, I mean, if they were legally doing so, they'd have to pay for 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 licensing rights, to even come close, obviously, or they'll be sued. Um, but also, um, it would be kind of nice to say this is an adaptation of Wonder Woman, as inspired by Wonder Woman, and that kind of thing. Oh, who's here? We got Julian Chotty in the chat. Hello, Julian. How are you? Great to join us today. I'm so happy. I hope your day is going well. Michaelito, from the beginning, Marvel Cinematic Universe has been an adaptation of, and Marvel has never promised anything else. Yeah, yeah, it's true. It's true. Um, it really has been. They've made a lot of changes, but I think we all can agree that they did a great job with Iron Man. Um, he was perfect, and so they did a great job with um, who else? Captain America as well. Fantastic job with those two. Um, and okay, so I'm at the end here, and let's see. I was going to talk about Disney a little bit because they're having some real issues. They're having quite a bit of fire. They have a lot of firings are supposed to be happening at Disney, and they just announced that Victoria Alonso uh, was left the company. Is one of the big wigs over at Disney, in charge of the visual um, aspects of a lot of these movies, and dealt a lot with the VFX people, and over the years we've been hearing comments about uh, many animators being very, very upset, mistreated, and many animated houses being mistreated by Disney. And part of it is has to do with the relationships that they have with her. And so that's interesting. And also how does Disney plan on repairing those relationships? Will be sort of the thing that we'll have to take a look at later. Some people said that they were able to see flaws and issues in many of the movies, such as Ant-Man, Quantumania. And so I think there was if these relationships can be repaired, it may change the way we look at the movies altogether, because someone was explaining this, that a lot of these movies, there's so much VFX content that they need to do, that sometimes if a movie if a VFX house cannot get this done, or they they totally leave the project, or it's they're unable to do that, whatever scene it is that they're doing, that means that that scene is left on the editing floor, and we don't get to see that scene. And sometimes those scenes are connecting together story plots, points, and pieces. So that may be one portion of the reason why there have been problems with people liking or enjoying these stories to the fullest effect. And so it's a very interesting conversation, that the special effects not being completed properly, people being mistreated, um, could be part of the very reason why the MCU's phases that we've been seeing lately haven't been working like they should. So, uh, let's see what you guys have to say. Darth Plato says, "I was okay with MCU's phase one. I thought that was a decent phase, and I like the fact that they started off small and they grew. And it was like a slow progression that they did, and I enjoyed that quite a bit, quite a bit." And Michaelito said, cash. Yes, it's the number one reason for all of this, isn't it? And Tom Leary says, even Disney has changed. They've gotten edgier and edgier each year. Yeah, they are getting edgier. And I am going to do a segment on that. Going to have a conversation with you guys about the fact that Disney has made a lot of changes over the years, and compare Disney from when we were kids to and why we liked Disney, and kind of appreciate the old Disney. That's going to be a topic um, to go to, and to be in a positive frame of mind for all of this. Like there's something about Disney of yesteryear that was that was very charming and endearing. That there are still some people who, no matter what Disney does, will always love Disney for what it stood for, when we were kids. The innocence of it, and even though there may have been problems we didn't know about behind the scenes, uh, there was something that attracted us to Disney. And Tom Limery says, "Was Pirates of the Caribbean part of Disney?" Yes, it is part of Disney. Um, uh, I believe so. I believe so. And I think it started because um, I think they did a live action Treasure Island movie back in the day. Um, and so they had a ship that was in the theme park, and then they decided that they wanted to write a movie around that particular scenic attraction. So Unicorn Rampant Studios. They could even do a white bodysuit, hippie 1970s Wonder Woman. Other other than a couple of villains, there's nothing continuity about it. Yes, the 1970s Wonder Woman was quite unique, wasn't she? Um, and I wonder if I have a couple of comics from that time period. They were really uncharacteristic, and not my favorite, but definitely a treat to see that those issues. They were very, 1970s modern. Unicorn Rampant City. The issue was not using original comic book story, than making new ones. Is that some of the stories are really good and they're not benefiting from good writing. Yeah, yeah. I mean, my experience with comic books, uh, excuse me for my allergies again, guys. My experience with comic books in general is that you could be reading an issue and then suddenly it cuts off and starts a completely different storyline. Sometimes there is one through line storyline all the way through. Uh, and I think sometimes, some comic books, they write themselves into a corner, and then it has like a weird ending. The next issue like does something completely unique. So it is very, um, I'm not sure it's how easy it can be. There are some storylines that are going to be awesome to follow, and then some are going to be touch and go. But I also think, like, even just one comic book, like tiny little book, has a lot of juicy details that can be done for a movie. We're talking about hundreds of issues of books, and that could be translated into movies, and added scenes can be inserted, and all of your material is right there. Now I think some of the stuff needs to be modernized, right? But you can do it. I mean, I don't see why. But then you have graphic novels. that you can definitely get full storylines from, and that is really important. But I think the writing, I would think I was talking about this as a thing with Hollywood in general. The writing could be as good as it wants to be, but if you have a company that is saying, "Hey, we need you to insert this for a toy," right? We need you to insert this for for this model what we're selling. This design here. We're using this for the next launch. We need you to put a product placement for this particular company or product placement, and it gets to be muddled in money. um, you have to hire this person's niece because um, she needs to be in the movie because they contributed, a couple million. Y- y- It gets murky, and that's how a lot of movies get to have as much problems as they do. Is there's a lot of politics involved in making movies that then we don't get to see. All we see is the product of it, you know. Um, and it unfortunately I wish it was just about the art and creating, and I think everybody would wish it was about the art. And Jethro Plato says uh, Wonder Woman shouldn't reflect the times. W should be a person displaced in time to the modern world. Lots of drama can be had there, yeah, and I think that was what was happening in the first Wonder Woman movie, where she was the fish out of water, and I think that worked really well for that story. But at some point, Wonder Woman has to get used to her environment and become, she's going to be like hundreds of years old, knowing the world as she knows it, and people are only going to be, the people she interacts with are not going to have, you know hundreds of years of experience than that she does. And so I'm not uh I'm not I'm not sure there's like in the beginning, like starts off with this like fish out of water, but then to this other flips into this like part of maturity and like wisdom, right? Um so there's there's a lot of stories that can be written about that transformation period too. Um, and Unicorn More Rampant Student is letting us know that he says, I'm sorry, my voice text is crazy while I'm walking. That is absolutely fine. I think we understand you perfectly clear. You're doing very fine. And Unicorn Rabbit says this, I was stunned that they made Iron Man a good character. Excellent movies, even the ones that dragged on a little bit. Yeah, they did a great job. Again, they started small with him. They started small with him, and they made him a human being. And I think that's the most important part, is making characters a humans uh, to relate to each other, and that's very important. That's why people love him the most. I think him and Captain America. Those two are just beloved by a lot of the people. Um, and Darth Vader says Pirates of the Caribbean is based on a real time in history, yes, 1700s and 1718. I used to love doing research on pirate history. Um, all the pirates, there were a lot of women pirates too. They were, I mean, I remember being a little kid going to the library and just reading up on all that stuff. I used to love the encyclopedias and and reading about that stuff. At one point, I had like a list of all the pirates that ever lived, that I knew of. Um, I don't know what happened to that list. Unicorn Rabbit City says Iron Man is actually not a sympathetic character until the Ultimates. Oh, in the comic books, yeah. And I think the reason why he's interesting. It actually took a couple movies before we actually like. I mean, for me to actually enjoy the character. I mean, the first one was a small movie, and you did see like a character arc, but it wasn't fully arced. He wasn't fully arced yet, but you did see a character change. And then the second one, there were more consequences. It just really felt like he was making some more changes. And the last one, he definitely changed fully. Then I would think we were all rooting for him by the end of uh, the third Iron Man movie. And we understand his mind a lot more. We understand his jokes. We understand why he is the way he is. We understand his history. He's part of us now. Alex Dawson said, I just want to let everyone know Criterion has all of their Blu-ray 50% off on their website till approximately 8 o'clock tonight. Oh my goodness. That is so awesome. Thank you, Alex, for letting us know about that. Yeah, if I had a little extra money in my pocket, I'd go over there. But I would have to get a Blu-ray as well. So I don't have a Blu-ray to play anything. So that's on the list. Tom Lemery says, the way they treated Johnny Depp, would be surprised if he never came back to Pirates. Yeah, that's a really tricky situation. And it's really hard to say what's the best way to move forward. But um, if I were Johnny, I wouldn't bother. They'll be fine. I think they're probably thinking they are going to reboot. Um, and they don't have to. They could just move forward, but I think they're trying to reboot and just say the character died or the character disappeared. But there's still leave an opportunity for him to show up. Um, and I think this time they were thinking about having the next character be a woman pirate, which is again not a brand new idea. Um, and I hope they don't, decide like, oh yeah, this is the first time a woman, blah blah blah, because it's not the first time. Um, and I will say this: one of my favorite movies. It is a guilty pleasure because a lot of people don't like this movie. Um, is the one with Gina Davis in it? That's oh gosh, what is the name of that movie? Um, Cutthroat Island. Yes. I love that movie. That is a movie that is a lot of fun for me, and I'm hoping um either I get to do a watch party or do a review it for you guys. It's just one of those movies I had a lot of fun watching, and it's definitely very much hated by a lot of people, but I don't know, somehow I love it. But yeah, they were thinking about uh not maybe doing a soft reboot of the Pirates of the Caribbean, but it's a franchise that's just sitting on the shelf. They're not doing anything with it, and that makes no sense. They had ample opportunity in the past to uh pass the storyline along. Um and yeah, that's that. Unicorn Rabbit Juice. Obviously, I'm not stating my opinion about the characters. Uh, Darth Plater says Tony Stark is cocky. He would make a great the he would make the Muhammad Ali blush. Yes, he would. Um, um, she had big old earrings on. Mm, oh, I'm not sure what that was in reference to. Um, And Michaelito says the reality is the same person who wants Marvel to slow down now is the person who had them churning out content for his streaming service, and his name is Bob Iger. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I can't put my finger on what he's doing. Um, I don't know what's going on there. I'm confused as to what's happening over at Disney. And there are reports there are going to be massive firings, massive firings at Disney in the next coming weeks. And that's scary. People, times are tough and hard to get a job. So it is going to be really sad to see this um, happen. All right, I see something very much. Unicorn Rampant Studio with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Allergies equal comic book tears. Well, um, that means I have to play my favorite uh, little drop that I like to play for you because a special friend makes an appearance. Here we Hmm, time to have a little sip of my coffee. Still good. Um, all right, let's see. Thank you once again, Unicorn Rampant Studios. I appreciate you so much. You offer so much to the conversation, and today, wow, just so many cool things that you mentioned. Um, we've got Darth Plato who says the only good pirate show I liked was Black Sails. Oh, I'm gonna have to write that down. That's a TV series or something? Black Sails. Yeah, I'm like a big fan of pirates and so on. Oh, look who's here. Cool J. Hi, nice seeing you. Swinging by to drop some love. Gotta get back to work. Okay, well, thank you. Thanks for coming by. Uh, just so awesome to see you. Um, and have a good day. All blessed. Oh, thank you. Okay, and Woodrow says, Metro Nerd Girl, Marvel is restarting the Ultimate Marvel universe with a really good writer. So more of Marvel, um, your favorites will be blacker and better, just like Nick Fury. Um, okay, I'm not sure. I have no idea. Um, and Tom Limery says, "Gotta go. Take care." Oh well, okay. Have a good one, Tom. I'm so glad you were able to hang out with us today. You're awesome. Um, and uh, yeah. Well, yeah. It's coming down to the time. I think that was the last thing I wanted to talk about was the uh, the firings and all of that. Um, the only last thing that's on the agenda is John Wick 3. And I think I asked the question before if anybody was excited for it. I just recently saw John Wick on the Lorena Creole's channel. We have a posting of that particular watch party that we did. And it was so good. On Lorena Creole's channel, I've watched all three of the John Wick movies, and I didn't realize I was missing out on so much. So um, I'm really looking forward to being able to see. the fourth one whenever it comes to streaming, because you know how they talk about the sick and the shut in. Well, I'm the one that's shut in. I can't really get to go see a movie theater, but I can't go to see it in a movie theater. It really is quite a bit of money for me to travel out to the theater, but and as soon as it hits streaming, I am gonna jump all over it. Um, and I hope you guys get a chance to see it in a theater, because that's probably the best place to see a movie like this. And the reports are that it is insanely good, and that's also another reason why um, Shazam 2 is having such a big problem at the box office. Everyone is going to see John Wick. They're like, yeah, we got the weekend. What are we gonna see? We're gonna see a movie we know that is gonna be amazing, and John Wick is that movie. You're not gonna waste your time to see a movie that's okay, right? That's the whole point of it. So anyway, guys, I think this is going to be it. Let's see. Yeah, I am. Um, going to say goodbye to you guys. And I've been on for 2 hours now. I would stay longer, but I think I ran out of topics, and we are all set for the week. I hope we get some good news this week, something fantastic. And I will report back next week. Next show will be next Wednesday at 10 o'clock. And I think I'm going to name the show the morning show, or Um, but I am so happy that this one is running smoothly. Let me just do a little something behind the scenes here. Um, okay, yes, we're getting the technology going. And yeah, I'm going to play the outro video. And from the outro video, you guys can leave your last comments, your last statements, and or your goodbyes to the friends that we made today and the friends that we know. And also, I wanted to say, without further ado, I bid you adieu. Without further ado, I bid you adieu. And have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope to catch some of you on some other streams out there. And I will see you in the next video.
Retro Nerd Girl, you are clear for takeoff.